If you're thinking about buying a Tesla, I seriously suggest you think again, especially if you need a daily driving car and it will be your only car. Teslas aren't the worst cars out there, but they're still far from the best. Today I'll tell you why, and I hope this helps you make a wise decision. Let's say you have a trip plan. You've routed the map to go from start point A to your destination, which is point Z. Tesla tells you you'll need to recharge en route at point B. In all normal circumstances, you can trust Tesla's route, and your drive might be fine. But now if you're driving at or above the speed limit on a highway, and definitely it's not cold outside, thing is, Tesla's map and route doesn't account for fast driving or cold temperatures outside. Let's say for your trip, you're driving at the speed limit, which is 80 miles an hour on a highway, and it's cold outside. Well, most people know the colder weather zaps your battery in general. But in addition to that, since you're driving at 80 miles an hour, well, now your battery will drain twice as fast. In other words, you'll lose driving range 2 times faster. Tesla doesn't tell you that. So let's say you have 200 miles of range left on your car when you start your trip. Well, that 200-mile range in effect will only get you 80 miles, give or take, before you need to charge at that speed, at that temperature. Bottom line is, Tesla says you'll make it to point B to recharge, but in reality, you won't. You're going to be stranded because Tesla's mapping is based on normal driving conditions that just doesn't factor in your fast driving speed or the outside temperature. And this has actually happened to many Tesla owners. You can understand their frustration because no one likes to get stranded in the middle of nowhere. Here's part of the problem. All EVs are equipped with range meters, so you know when and where your car will need to stop and recharge. Range meters work perfectly fine in the summer, but once the temperature starts dropping, so does the range meter's accuracy. This causes some Tesla range meters to even become unusable, especially during the winter. Here's another reason. When your Tesla's just sitting in the cold, doing nothing at all, the cold itself will drain the battery. That's a fact. So even if you decide to start recharging to get more range, you're also simultaneously losing range while the car's being recharged, simply because it's sitting in the cold. This means your charging time will take even longer than normal. But those aren't the only reasons you shouldn't buy a Tesla. There are many more. Since December 2021, Tesla has already recalled almost 500,000 vehicles. 500,000! From failing autopilot systems to literal fires. Tesla seem to be being recalled left and right. The largest amount of these recalls actually have to do with problems with the car's rear view cameras. And let's not forget trunk latch and hood problems that are also causing tons of Teslas to get recalled. The growing trend in faulty components used in Tesla cars is a major indicator of poor overall quality. Also think of the software updates. It's actually one of the most advertised things by Tesla. Tesla can fix some things in your car without you ever having to step foot in a dealership. And with the Tesla software update, you can get new features immediately too. But what Tesla doesn't advertise on their front page is hardware upgrades. Upgrading hardware in your Tesla can be done manually, but it's tedious and expensive. Because of that, you can end up having a Tesla with top-of-the-line software but bottom-of-the-barrel hardware. And that creates lags, instability, and general inefficiency in your Tesla. With outdated hardware, you can't even use Tesla's autopilot, dual monitor, and blind spot monitoring at all. Here's another pain that comes with buying a Tesla. Teslas don't come with a spare tire. I'm serious. Now, while Teslas may promise to be the cars of the future, they still can't run on flat tires. So if your tire gets punctured, you won't be able to change it on your own since you don't have a spare tire. Your only option is to call Tesla's Service Center hotline. They'll do the fixing for you. Now, that might sound convenient on the surface, but not when you're stranded in the middle of the road with a punctured tire and no other option but to wait for Tesla's help to arrive. Now, you do have an option to buy Tesla's tire inflator, but this tire inflator can only help you out with a single minor puncture, nothing more. But don't just take my word for it. Just consider the bad experiences some Tesla customers have had. Some negative Tesla customer experiences have to do with small yet frustrating details in the car itself. So Teslas come with an emergency handle, which sounds all cool in theory, that the door will pop off. But how they execute it is very non-intuitive, and one mistake can ruin your door or window trim. Take the Model 3 passenger door, for example. Let's say you're a passenger and you want to open a door. Most likely you won't push the button because you'll assume the button is to control the window or something else. So instead, you pull up on a small latch, because that's our natural instinct. Most people assume this is the door handle. Unfortunately, that's the emergency latch that pops open the door altogether. turns out that pushing the small button instead is what opens the door. Bottom line is, the door handle isn't intuitive at all, which to me speaks poor design. Speaking of door handles, here's another customer complaint. Normally, everyone wants to be able to unlock their car and jump inside instantly. And getting into your Tesla is as easy as the tap of a key card, except it isn't. You can also use your phone to get into your Tesla, but that's where the problem starts. Some consumers have been experiencing issues, like interference with their phone's Bluetooth. If you're doing something on your phone before you use it to open your Tesla, chances are you'll have to turn off your phone's Bluetooth and then turn it back on again. On top of that, some customers have found that even after doing that, either their car will take a minute to open up or won't open up at all. If that's not annoying, I don't know what is. And you can imagine the worst case scenario, someone chasing you and you need to jump in your car, but now you can't get in. Many customers complain about build quality. Take, for example, panel gaps. It's not uncommon to see uneven gaps where a door or trunk closes. Some trunks close shut on one side, then on the other end you have a gap as wide as a finger's width. Just look at the lines through the car and very likely you'll see other inconsistencies and panel gaps. It's just ugly. Also look at the rubber lining around the trunk and doors. Most customers who have the problem of uneven panel gap in the trunk also notice the rubber lining around the trunk opening has warped. Actually, it's that rubber warping that causes the trunk door gap to be uneven in the first place. Other customers have complained about a premature rattling sound in their vehicles. EVs in general are renowned for their smooth silence when driving. But apparently, after Teslas hit a certain mileage, some customers noticed the Teslas made some strange, discernible noises. Let's talk about getting stuck on the side of the road in a Tesla. A dependable roadside assistant can be a literal lifesaver if or when you encounter a problem on the road while driving. But if you're thinking about getting a Tesla, you should know that Tesla's roadside service doesn't include if you run out of battery power. Now, driving an all-electric car that depends on a battery for life, you'd think its roadside assistance could offer you a small hand in that area. But if your car runs out of juice on the road, you can't call Tesla's roadside assistant to boost you with electricity. Instead, you have to call AAA Gold Plus if you have membership. So your best bet is to take preventive measures. You should also make sure you have enough juice to run the distance of your trip. Now, if you think a car with all these downsides would at least have a price that makes up for them, Teslas are anything but affordable for the average American. The cheapest Tesla model right now is the 2022 Model 3, which starts at $47,000. Now, the Model 3 is a great four-door sedan, but so are other sedans like the Toyota Corolla, which starts at $26,000. That's $21,000 difference, which is no chump change. If you're the type of person who desires a Tesla, you're probably not the type of person who settles for basic trim. Like most Tesla owners, you'll probably go all out. I'm talking all the bells and whistles that can be added to your car. And that turns your Tesla from a mid-range vehicle to a luxury car. Add-on luxury items include things like a bigger battery, heated seats, and of course, Tesla's autopilot. These add-ons will cost you, I'm talking anywhere from an added $10,000 to $15,000 for just a few add-ons. But it's not just that they're expensive. Not if, but when a key component in your Tesla breaks down and needs replacement, your credit card will not thank you. Take, for example, replacing your Tesla battery. Tesla batteries have a max capacity lifespan of around 8 years. That means before you reach your 8th year, your battery won't be able to charge to 100% and your trips will get shorter. If your battery dies sooner or faces premature issues, well, it's not cheap. Tesla batteries cost an average of $7,000 to replace, sometimes even more. Did you know that George Clooney isn't a fan of Teslas? Look, I'm not for or against George Clooney. Not that he's a car guru, but he's an average driver. So George Clooney bought a Tesla Roadster back in 2008. He was actually one of the first buyers of the model. But his excitement quickly turned to disappointment. After driving at 1,825 miles, he decided to sell it at a 2012 Gooding & Company auction at Pebble Beach. The sale of his disappointing Roadster raised $99,000 for charity. So what exactly was the reason why Clooney sold his Tesla? He said he always ended up being stuck on the side of the road. In 2013, George Clooney did an interview where he shared why he hated his Tesla. Afterwards, Elon Musk came out and called it a needless comment that was needlessly reported. He said that since Clooney was driving an older Tesla model, it was like someone complaining about their iPhone 1 in 2001. But here's the thing, buying a Tesla is a lot more expensive than getting an iPhone. That might be a mistake George Clooney can afford to make, but it's not a mistake an average American can afford. Personally, for me, I feel that for now, Tesla's more about hype and coolness factor rather than build quality and practicality for the mainstream public. And look, if a major celebrity who spent big bucks complained about it, and yes, I recognize this was years ago, but fact remains he hasn't bought any Teslas since, and even the latest one, well, that's another sign to think twice before getting a Tesla. Up until the last few years, Tesla didn't have much competition in the electric vehicle business. But now the EV industry has more competitors than ever before, and it's growing. Personally, my opinion is that it's best to wait a few more years before you get a Tesla or any electric car. With more competition in the market, EV makers will be forced to perform better, meaning that range and quality should get better, and pricing should go down, assuming there will be more EV choices in inventory, and in due time, EV infrastructure should also get better. Right now, the EV industry just hasn't matured. So if you're dead set on getting an EV and you're able to wait a few more years, my bet is that you'll get better value in the long run. But now, you tell me, what are your thoughts about Tesla cars? Please share your opinion by commenting below. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for your support.